Good afternoon. I am joined today by Chief of Health and Human Services, Marty Martinez, and Chief of Economic Development, Midori Morikawa. As mayor, my highest priority is leading Boston's equitable recovery, reopening, and renewal from the COVID-19 pandemic. Our city has maintained an unrelenting focus on addressing the impacts of COVID-19. We are fighting the spread of the virus with access to community testing, citywide vaccination, and public health policies that are informed by science. The metrics that guide our course are trending in the right direction. New COVID positive tests in Boston have decreased by 41% over a 2-week time period. The city's positivity rate has also decreased to 3.6%, below our threshold goal of 5%. COVID-related emergency room visits have dropped 4% over the past 2 weeks, and the percentage of available ICU and medical hospital beds has remained stable during this period, along with the city's ICU bed occupancy rate. Our citywide vaccination effort is also encouraging. More than 55% of Boston residents over age 16 have received at least one dose of COVID vaccine. The safe return of the single-dose Johnson & Johnson vaccine this week will further accelerate vaccinations in Boston. The recent pause by the CDC and FDA confirms that the J&J vaccine's known or potential benefits outweigh its known or potential risks. I want to thank our public health officials, our community partners, and every Boston resident for their contributions to our equitable recovery efforts. I spoke with Governor Baker this morning to discuss his plans for reopening statewide, as well as the work I am doing in Boston to reopen our city. In some areas, Boston will join the Commonwealth in the next steps of reopening. In other areas, Boston will need additional time. In every aspect of Boston's reopening, we will take the right measures at the right time to protect our people and promote our businesses. The timeline for Boston's continued reopening allows 3 weeks of additional time to vaccinate vulnerable residents, accommodate dense neighborhoods, and support complex business districts. I am committed to protecting both the lives and the livelihoods of Boston residents. The city has invested over $16 million in small businesses. In my FY22 budget, we have made significant investments in small businesses, hard-hit industries, and job training. Programs such as commercial rent assistance, outdoor dining, green jobs training, the Be Local Rewards app, and the All-Inclusive Boston campaign are all helping Boston Main Streets recover, reopen, and renew. I want to thank the people of Boston and our business leaders for your partnership as we safely reopen our city. Over the past year, mask wearing has played an important role in protecting ourselves and others from COVID-19. It is one of the simplest and most effective tools we have to reduce transmission of the virus. I encourage Boston residents to continue to wear masks as we recover together from this pandemic. With improving metrics on all fronts, Boston will increase its capacity limits for event spaces and public settings. On April 30th, the City of Boston will adopt capacity limits of 100 people for indoor settings and 150 people for outdoor settings. City capacity limits for private homes will remain at 10 people indoors and 25 people outdoors. Effective May 10th, Boston will align with the Commonwealth rules to allow indoor and outdoor stadiums like Fenway Park to increase capacity from 12% to 25%. I have personally had the opportunity to see the safety protocols already in place at Fenway Park. For the remaining reopening measures announced by the state today, the City of Boston will follow a 3-week delay. Starting June 1, the City of Boston will reopen to road races and larger outdoor athletic events with a staggered starts and written safety plans for longer races. June 1st will also bring the return of indoor singing in Boston with strict social distancing requirements for various settings. The City of Boston will delay to June 19th increased capacity limits of 200 people for indoor settings and 250 people for outdoor settings. This step will be subject, of course, to public health and vaccination data. On June 19th, bars and beer gardens will be permitted to open without requirement to serve food with alcohol, and street festivals and parades will also reopen June 19th at 50% of their 2019 capacity. These measures will also be subject to public health and vaccination data. As long as case and vaccination data continue to improve, Boston's remaining industries will be opened at 100% on capacity, 100% capacity on August 22nd as we look to a full reopening. But again, that will be based on vaccination data and case data. We are working closely with the business community, especially small businesses, to get Boston back to work. Chief Morikawa is convening calls with small business owners today at 5 p.m. to develop specific guidance for our reopening plans and to understand the impact. These calls will continue every Tuesday at 3 p.m. And the city's economic development team will also hold reopen Boston office hours every Friday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., and again at 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Again, these office hours are 9 to 11 and 2 to 4 every Friday. These efforts ensure business owners, customers, and workers can return safely as Boston reopens. Boston's reopening timeline reflects the progress we have made, the progress that remains, and our shared fight against the pandemic. Boston.gov/reopening includes a breakdown of our reopening plans. As we look ahead to better and brighter days, we must remember that the COVID-19 pandemic is not over. Reopening our economy does not remove our personal and collective responsibility to remain vigilant. As we enjoy even more of our city through this reopening, please don't forget the basics that keep us safe. Wear your mask, wash your hands, maintain social distance, and please get vaccinated. Working together with residents, businesses, houses of worship, and community groups, we can ensure Boston's recovery, reopening, and renewal remain safe and equitable.